Hi, welcome to Joe and Mike's annual off-season sports card opening podcast marathon extravaganza benefiting an ALS charity as chosen by a friend of ours whose family has been affected by ALS 2025. I'm Joe Posnanski, and with me is Michael Shore. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
You know how easy that was?
You're
rolls
getting
off
better
the
at
tongue.
it. The first time you did it, it was a little bit like you had just been handed the slip of paper for the first time. But that time, that was mellifluous. I would say it
was. I felt it was mellifluous. So Here we are. This is episode 3 of. It's like
Say it again.
one of those
Episode 3 of what?
No, episode 3 of I don't know how many. I was going to say it's sort of like when you do like a 3 and then you put like an X or something. Like we don't know how many of these, but it is episode 3 of the podcast.
Of what? Episode 3 of what? Read it again.
Episode 3 of the Joe and Mike's annual off-season sports card opening podcast marathon extravaganza benefiting an ALS charity as chosen by a friend of ours whose family has been affected by ALS 2025.
There we go.
Obviously that's what it is.
See, I'm trying to get you your reps, like
I need them.
The more you do it, by the time we're on episode 6 or whatever, you won't even have to look down. You'll just know it. It'll come right out of you.
It'll just free flow right out of me. So this is episode 3 of the podcast where we are raising money for Team Gleason, an incredible charity, and we're going to talk a little bit about Team Gleason with our good friend Katherine O'Hagan, who's with us. Katherine has been. How long have you been with Team Gleason now, Katherine?
A little over a year.
Okay.
So one of the newer members of the crew, but have known about Team Gleason for many years.
And what is your official title at Team Gleason?
Well, it depends on who you ask, but officially I'm the Director of Development. So I oversee our fundraising and donor relations element. And
now, when you say it depends on who you ask, since we're asking you and no one else from Team Gleason is around, you could say whatever you want.
Yeah, you could say you are Lord.
If this wasn't being recorded.
Yes, that is true. They might hear it later. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Team Gleason. We are so excited. I think last I looked, we are up to $28,000 that we've raised so far for Team Gleason, which is really amazing. Incredible considering it's just 2 of us opening baseball cards, But let me start with this. First of all, you guys are based in New Orleans, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So the Super Bowl's coming to New Orleans. You guys are going to be at the heart of this. This is very cool for you guys, right?
It's very exciting. There's a lot of moving parts. We are right across from the Superdome. So we recently moved our offices to be closer to home, right? Where our office now looks out onto Steve's statue, the Rebirth statue, and the Superdome, which is great. But there's some logistical things that we're working through because the Super Bowl is currently being built, right, all around us. So we're working from home for the next maybe the next 2 weeks, but we'll be popping in and out as we have visitors wanting to come see the space. But it's exciting. We have a lot going on. We have a big Game Changer Gala, which we're going to, and it's leading up to Super Bowl week, right? You all have probably participated in a Super Bowl experience where it's nonstop events, right, leading up to the big day. So we're a part of that. We have a gala and we have a celebrity golf tournament with a nice roster of NFL players, sportscasters, and so forth.
Now, as the president and co-founder of Team Gleason, why don't you tell us the origins of how it was founded, where it came from, how it all got going, so that people who don't know can get a little bit of a backstory here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a Team Gleason Foundation. So Gleason is for Steve Gleason. Steve Gleason is a former NFL player. He was he played for the Saints, and when I mentioned the Rebirth statue.
You mentioned the Rebirth statue, that is of him, yes.
Yeah, that's of him. And he has been a pillar of hope and inspiration, not just for the ALS community, which I'll talk about, but also for the city of New Orleans. And that started after Katrina. He's very known for his blocked punt in the Superdome, which was the first game when the Superdome opened against the Falcons. So that just really changed the trajectory of the way people in the community were looking at New Orleans and how they felt, and giving them a lot of hope. So that's where it started. And he was diagnosed with ALS just in 2011. So with that, when he made that announcement, he decided to form Team Gleason Foundation, because through, while he was learning about it, as through the diagnosis, and the diagnosis is, process of elimination, right? It's not like one day that you go for blood tests and they say you have ALS. It takes time to get there. And through that, he realized what a major service gap there was for people living with the disease. And he didn't think it was right that people were diagnosed and told that their life was over, and that they were just supposed to go into the corner and not live. So that is our whole mission, is to empower people living with ALS. And we do that primarily with innovative technology and equipment. And we also, I'd say the cornerstone of our program really is our adventure program. We try to prioritize our budget so the most basic needs are met first. But no matter what, we'll always be looking to send our pals, that's what we call people with ALS, or pals, and their CALs, which are caregivers, away on adventures, right? As a way to really embody what our mission is, that you can go do things. You can go on vacations. You can go to sports games. You can go to Super Bowl events. You can go, skydiving in Hawaii, all of those things. So that, to me, is really the heart of our mission, is not only taking the services that we provide, but then going out and really taking advantage of all of them. So Steve, over the years, has just been a source of hope, and he's built this incredible community for people with ALS.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Give us a couple of examples of what these adventures would look like, because over the last couple of years, Mike and I have done this baseball card opening thing and raised money. So the first year we raised money for the ALS Center, ALCS Center, we call it, over at Columbia University, where obviously their focus is entirely on cure, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're focusing on trying to find a cure. Last year we donated our money and time to Project Main Street, which is another and I know you guys work with both of those, but Project Main Street specifically, where they're very focused on helping the families of people with ALS, and that's their focus. You guys are focusing on a couple of different things, but these adventures are really sort of what separates. So give us some examples of what you're talking about when you say adventures.
Yeah, with adventures, it's when we engage with our pals. Again, we're limited there with our funding, so that's not the top of what we do, but it is, like I said, the cornerstone. So we have our pals. They write in, they fill out an application, and share with us what they think they would like to do if they were given the opportunity to go on a Team Gleason adventure. So Hawaii is a really big one right now. We have a great partnership in Hawaii where we have pals and their families go down and they get to go skydiving, which is wild. We do get a lot of sports requests. So we've been doing the Super Bowl basically every year for the past several years. Obviously, we're teeing up for a Super Bowl here in New Orleans. Just recently, I worked with an incredible donor who found out that his good buddy had ALS, and he wanted to work with us to put together a bucket list trip. So we're looking at that now, where they'll go golfing and they'll do a whole bunch of things around the Masters. So, it really depends, what people want to do. We like the pals to lead it and the people that they love. We don't want to be the ones saying, you go here, right? Let's do what they want to do. And it all started from Steve and his wife just being huge adventurers. Steve loved to travel. He always loved to really push the envelope with things that he did, and hiking. And they were in Machu Picchu, a couple of years after his diagnosis. So it's just the idea of just continue to live the best you can.
Now, where did you come from? How did you get involved with Team Gleason? How did you rise to the position of most high and holy empress of the organization?
I love that. Okay, so
I'm just throwing things out as suggestions for what you could say.
These are the names. Yeah. These are the titles.
These all work. Yeah. Keep them coming. Like I said, I started a year ago, but I had known about Team Gleason since 2013. I'm from New York originally, and always loved New Orleans. Been coming down here for Jazz Fest. Always in the back of my head was like, wow, I'd love to be able to live there. I did not think, looking forward, I'd be here in this position. But unfortunately, in 2013, a young man in my community in the Yonkers, Bronx area was diagnosed. His name was Pat Quinn, and he was 30 years old. So that put ALS on the map for me and many people in the Bronx and Yonkers, Westchester, and we formed this group called Quinn for the Win. At that time, Steve had reached out to him, and they became really close buddies. And I'd say, depending, Steve would probably say that Pat gave him a new lease on life, but we know from New York that Pat came back, from some really great times with Steve. Like they saw the Foo Fighters together. They were on stage, at Voodoo Fest here in New Orleans. They did all these great things. And he came back with a really new lease on life. And he was one of the founders of the Ice Bucket Challenge. So It was really awesome. So I heard about it through that. And I knew that Steve was doing something special. And then I moved down here in 2019. And at that time, my closest friend, who's a local here in New Orleans, she was taking care of her father who had ALS. And all she kept saying is, I don't know what I do with that Team Gleason. So it was always on my radar as this really amazing organization. And it just so happened I was leading major fundraising and philanthropy for LSU Health and moved on from there to Team Gleason. So it's been an honor. And I think, when the mission becomes personal, it becomes more than a job. It's a calling. And I really believe that. And you get involved and you see just how resilient the ALS community is and just how badass they are, really. Like it's just, and their families, they're just going for it and doing everything they can to, with all the challenges in front of them. And we're there to kind of help all of that, right? Just let them do what they do best with amazing things like voice banking. And because with ALS, you do lose your voice over time. So we like to get in there early to record their voices. So their favorite sayings, maybe like the introduction to the podcast here, could be pre-recorded. So, you can hear that all the time. So we do special things like that, as well as obviously, like I said, the key equipment that we provide, portable power wheelchairs, speech generating devices, shower chairs, and all the basics. So yeah, that's been my journey. I think everybody that you would meet at Team Gleason has a personal story in some way. If it's not because of someone that they knew in their family area, even just when you get on board, you become personally attached because of the incredible people that we're working with.
Sure. No, I mean, it's, I think the thing that has really blown us away, and that's why we're so excited to be partnering with you guys, is that, are sort of, I mean, I've known a couple of people who have had ALS. We're both very good friends with Sarah Langs, who has been on this podcast, who is battling ALS now. But I don't think any of us, either of us, or anybody who has not been directly affected, can fully understand all of the challenges and all of the things that have to be done. And that's sort of been, for us, a little bit of our journey in doing this, is sort of learning about it's not like, I'm donating to a charity that works with ALS. There are so many things to do, and so when people are donating here, as they have been and will hopefully really be re-engaged and more excited than ever, where is this money going? Like, I mean, you talked about some of the equipment, you talk about the adventures, you talk about like things like voice banking that people would never even think about. Is it really just a constant effort to find new ways to help?
That's a good question. And just to your point, I mean, ALS, in my theory, it's like you don't want to know about it because it's just so brutal, right? So that's, until it comes on your radar, I think sometimes people want to block it out because it's just a really rough disease that strips away every ability that you have to live, right? But your brain is still fully functioning. So, it's hard to wrap your head around. And when it is eventually in your sphere, or somebody that has it, to know that an institution like Team Gleason is there is very comforting, right? Because we can, from every step of the way, from diagnosis through the journey, We're there to provide the tools necessary to kind of keep going. So yeah, that's really where we are. What was your question again, Paz?
No. I mean, I think my specific thing is, so somebody donates, as people,
where does the money go? Right. Yeah.
Where does money go? Yeah.
Well, just like top of the waves, we have, if you were looking at a pie with like 100% of all the funds coming in, 80% of that goes directly to our mission. And so that's nice to know right off the bat. And then when you prioritize where that goes, like I said, we like to start with where the needs are immediately, right? So if you're unable to walk, if you're unable to take a shower or do the basic things, we want to make sure we get you up and going with those first. So that's where I say the lion's share of the revenue is going to equipment and technology. Right. And then also from voice banking and like I said, adventures as well. But adventures is like our smaller limited piece just because right now we have to prioritize. The more funds that we receive, the more adventures they can go on. Right. So the biggest and what we're doing, we say innovative technology because we do have a program that's driving innovation. Steve has been working with Microsoft and all the tech companies since he was diagnosed and really helping to drive change. And with that, we have incredible board members on companies, especially like Microsoft. So we are working hard to make sure that we have the top of the line equipment and technology so we can continue to drive it and also continue to make change on the Hill. So if we're able to get things passed where certain equipment can be covered by the government or by medical insurance and things like that, then we can move on and put something else up there, right? So that's where we hope to be kind of nimble and flexible in that way. So one thing that we saw, we had a huge rise in demand for portable power wheelchairs. And that's because seat elevators were driving our budget the year before. Since they are now covered by insurance, we're able to move into a new space, right? And with that, that's actually probably it's one of the most expensive pieces of equipment that we do. So we were able to pivot this year and also do a tracking program to kind of regroup, to take them back in, repurpose them, and then send them back out, which helps kind of be able to use them more and kind of stretch our dollar further so that multiple people that can use them. And again, unfortunately, that's part of the disease. How long will people be using a portable power wheelchair? The life expectancy, unfortunately, for someone with ALS is 2 to 5 years. So with that, our mission is immediate and urgent. We want to do what we can right when we get the call, right when we get the email, and be there throughout the whole journey.
Well, our mission is to find people in America or elsewhere who just really love 2011 Upper Deck Justin Upton baseball cards and somehow convince them that in order to win one, they have to send Team Gleason a minimum of $25. Somehow it's working.
Yeah, and, we don't know how.
We don't know how. Fundraising strategy, but I'm behind it.
Well, Katherine, this has been amazing, and obviously, we're going to keep this going, and we'll hopefully hear from you again as we go forward. And now we're going to open up some cards. I mean, right? Yeah. That's what we're going to try to do. But
great. I can't thank you enough, and hopefully we'll be on again. And you can go to our website, teamgleason.org, to learn more, to see all the different events we have. And I just want to drive home that we are a national nonprofit. We're in New Orleans. We started in New Orleans as a homegrown, but we are working with people with ALS in every single state.
We were actually talking about this at the first one about, with all the challenges in LA, that provides for you guys a whole different level of challenges that, like anytime something happens anywhere,
right,
that affects the ALS community in a whole different way. So, so it is teamgleason.org, which we didn't get right the first time at all. And if you want to donate, which of course we'll say this again multiple times, it is teamgleason.org/Poscast, POSCAST. I mean, you could obviously donate anywhere you want there at Team Gleason, but if you
don't do it through the Poscast / you're not going to get the chance to win the 2011 Justin Upton.
That's right.
Card.
That's right.
It's up to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Look at this. I this is going to be a prize we're going to be giving is this Jordan Walker bobblehead.
Look at that.
It's with him holding a lightsaber. I literally have no idea what this is.
Oh, I get it. Jordan Skywalker.
Skywalker, but that's,
right.
I mean,
that is pretty cool.
That doesn't really seem to work for me, but
why not? Works
but
great.
A Cardinals fan will definitely want that, and the only way you will ever be able to win one of those things that you could probably get on eBay for like $10 is to donate to. So it is teamgleason.org/podcast. Katherine, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you both so much. We're huge fans of both of you, and we're just incredibly thrilled to be partnering with you. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The coordinator of falconry at Team Gleason.
That's right. Yeah, that was yes, head of all things at Team Gleason. So how about that? Was that? Here's a question for you. This is an honest, serious question for you. Well, I have two honest, serious questions for you. The first question for you is, was that too serious for the podcast?
Oh, by far, yeah, no question. In fact, we should probably record after that. We should go back and record a very stupid introduction that explains that we unfortunately have to get serious for a second, but don't worry, we'll be back to stupid very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine somebody listening and going, "Wait, this is meaningful. What is happening here?"
Yeah, I don't like this. This makes me feel weird that there's actual meaning behind what you're doing. So, what are you opening today? Because I have a very special, exciting opening.
Oh, this is exciting! I am opening. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a repeat. I'm going to go back to these 2024 Heritage baseball cards, but I'm also going to open some basketball cards. I bought this box of 1990-91. Why is that not working there? 1990-91 NBA Hoops card, the official NBA basketball card.
Okay.
And it cost me this box. So I went into the card store and said, "Listen, I want to buy some stuff that'll actually have some cool cards that might have some real value, because we're obviously going to be giving some away. But I also want to open up some cards, like old cards that might not have any value, but they'll have value to us." And he's like, I think he sold me this box for like 12 cents. I mean, like, literally it was just like, just take it. I just don't even want. So even if we open up, like, we'll get Larry Birds and Magic Johnsons. I don't think they're worth anything, or very little, but to us, they're worth everything. It's still a Magic Johnson card, for crying out loud.
Yeah, of course.
All right, but before we do that, before you tell us the exciting news of what you're going to open, I do have a question for you, because this came up. It appears, based on what you have sort of hinted the last couple of days, that you will actually be rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
And I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it.
So, look, I don't come to this lightly.
You never do.
But I've had a real kind of intense realization.
Okay.
In the last, I don't know, week, but call it at its highest intensity, the last 12 hours.
Okay.
Which is, this is why everyone hated the Patriots so much. Because I get it now. Because when Mahomes showed up,
yeah,
and the Chiefs began their run,
yes,
I, like all of us, marveled at the football acumen of Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, Andy Reid and the coaching staff and whoever was on the team. And I just, it's a marvel to watch that guy play. It's incredible. It is this overwhelming feeling that you have when you watch him, which is somehow he is just always better than everyone else on the field at his job, which is obviously the most important job. And that is that's a really fun thing to watch. You feel that when you watch certain athletes, when you see LeBron James play basketball, when you see Shohei play football, whatever, or baseball. That's what Shohei
also football.
He might play football. He probably plays football. Yeah. But now we've officially hit a point in the Patrick Mahomes career arc where it has crossed over from marveling at him to just being annoyed at him, because he is doing the thing that, like, Jordan did to a bunch of guys who played in the Eastern Conference of the NBA from, call it 1989 to 1998,
Right.
which is like, those guys deserve a chance too, man. Like, let those guys win one. And I really, really love Josh Allen, and I love the Bills, and I really thought that, they beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and it's a great story. And Josh Allen is also a marvel of athletic brilliance.
Incredible.
And we were in, like, 2 weeks ago, we were in a position where the number of potential outcomes for the Super Bowl that were thrilling and exciting and fun, it was the highest in decades in terms of, like, going into the divisional round. You had Lamar. Could Lamar break through and win his first? You had the Bills. Could they break through and win their first Super Bowl? You had
the Lions.
You had the Lions. Could the Lions undo 75 years of misery and sadness?
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Vikings, having lost a million Super Bowls, and one by one, they just all fall away. And you look up and it's like, well, there's Patrick Mahomes again.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that when Tom Brady was just ruining everyone's life every year, every fan base's life.
As he, by the way, still does as an announcer.
He apparently still does for most people. I just finally hit the point where I totally comprehended it's not just this guy wins every year. You start with that, right? It's also the way that he wins every year, which is wins games he shouldn't win, comes back late in games. Every time you take a lead against him in the third quarter, you instantly feel a sense of dread.
Yes.
It's the opposite. Getting the lead on Patrick Mahomes late in the third quarter of an NFL game is worse than not being in the lead, because you now know that the distance from which you are about to fall has just increased.
That's right.
In your just general sense of happiness and well-being. And watching him just do the inevitable over and over and over again it's reached a point of comic absurdity. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I have no choice at this point. And by the way, it is not because I don't want anyone to break Tom Brady's records. All records are meant to be broken.
Right.
Like, if Patrick Mahomes ends up winning 8 Super Bowls, then God bless. Like, you deserve everything. He's 28 years old. He's playing in his, 6th Super Bowl?
Fifth Super Bowl is 29. He's fifth Super Bowl.
Fifth Super Bowl.
In 6 years. Yeah.
He might win his 4th, which was at one point, very recently, the kind of like, well, that's as good as you can ever do is 4, right? That was Montana, and that was Bradshaw.
That was Bradshaw, yeah.
And then Brady came along and beat that record by 75%.
Yes.
And played in 10, which is to go 7-3. Tom Brady had nearly a full season of Super Bowls. In his career. But to hit that point, now it's like, if he breaks the record, he breaks the record. But it's the not creating any space for anyone else to succeed. Brady won his 3rd in 2004 and won his 4th a decade later. So there were 10 years where, whoever, Peyton Manning could show up and go like, oh, we'll let Peyton have one, and that's fine, or 2. and other people got the chance to even just play in the game.
Yeah.
We don't have that now. We just have this monotonous drumbeat, this rhythm, this yearly annual rhythm of just like, it is January, Patrick Mahomes is on the field and confetti's flying down in Kansas City. And I don't know, I hit a wall. And so I think I have no choice but to root for the Eagles to just stop the madness.
But this is very interesting to me. Well, there are a couple of things here. First of all, I love that this is what it took to get you to realize what everybody else was feeling like with the Patriots. I was noticing on Blue Sky yesterday that our dear friend Molly Knight was complaining about about the Chiefs being so good, and people very quickly were like, "Wait, aren't you a Dodgers fan? Like, that doesn't seem?" And she's like, she immediately, as Molly will do, tried to explain how different it is with the Dodgers, because the Dodgers haven't won. It's not different at all. It's exactly the same thing. It's very funny. But the other aspect of this is you don't like the Eagles, like
No,
at all. Like
I
really, like they're not the Cowboys, they're not the Steelers, they're not. I mean, I don't think they're. We've done this sort of ranking of teams that we hate in the order that we hate them, but the Eagles are pretty high up there. And if I recall, one really bad experience you had was in the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl. You were not a huge fan of the way Eagles fans were responding to that game.
I had no ill will toward the Eagles because they were kind of a loser franchise for most of my football fandom life. And so I didn't think a lot about them. I took my son to the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it was a wild game. It
was a wild game.
Everyone remembers the Philly special. Everyone remembers Nick Foles. But that game featured like one punt, I think, in the entire game.
Oh, it was crazy.
Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls. In the 2 against the Giants, he drove down the field and put his team ahead with like less than 4 minutes to play in each game. And in the 3rd loss against the Eagles, he threw for 500 yards and didn't get picked off. He threw for 500 yards and 2 touchdowns. He set a record. He's the first person ever to throw for 500 yards in a Super Bowl.
Probably the last. Yeah.
Probably the last.
Yeah.
And somehow lost. And so look, they had won so many. And I was sad that my son didn't get to see them win. But at the same time, I was like, I'm beyond being wounded at this point.
Yes. And also your son has lived a perfectly fine sports fan life.
He's totally fine. But I will say, and the Eagles fan base has this reputation, the degree to which we were assaulted verbally over the course of the afternoon. And this is, by the way, as well as anyone, at a Super Bowl, it's not like the Euro Cup final where half of the fans are, whatever, Man City fans and half are Barcelona fans. It's like most of the people there are just like random people who, have a friend who's a senior executive at Johnson & Johnson and got tickets, and they're just like, hey, it's a Super Bowl. But the Eagles fans at that Super Bowl, woof. I mean, you
were startled. You came in expecting something, and you were startled.
Look, I've been a Red Sox fan in the Bronx 1,000 times. I've been a Patriots fan at an LA Chargers game. Now that doesn't really mean anything because the Chargers don't have any fans, but it's not like I've never been in hostile territory before.
Yes.
That was the most hostile territory I have ever encountered. That was there. It wasn't quite at the level of I feared for our physical safety.
Yeah.
But I was with a, I don't know, 11-year-old boy, a 10-year-old boy. I don't even know how old he was. They did not care. The Eagles fans at that game did not care that my child was an innocent.
And let's just say this, let's just add to this part of it, because this was at the Super Bowl in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So this was not like just anybody who just happened to be getting like a Philly cheesesteak at Pat's. So these are like the creme de la creme of Eagles fans who have the money and the wherewithal and the commitment to be coming. And even it was shocking to you how hard they hit.
It was an intense experience. I talked to my friend Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia after that, and was saying was because he's a huge Eagles fan. I was soft pedaling what had happened to him, and I remember him going. I started to sort of explain what we had encountered, and he was just like, yeah, I can imagine. Sorry about that, man. And he definitely saw the whole thing. Cause he was I remember he said what was your son wearing? And I was like, he was wearing a Tom Brady jersey. And he was like, oh yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah. That'll do it. So, and you're rooting for that team against the Chiefs. Yeah.
Against all odds. If for no other reason than just, I think what we got, there were 4 possible matchups heading into yesterday. We got the most boring possible matchup, right?
Yeah, we just saw it. We just saw it 2 years ago. Although it was a great game. It was a great game.
It was a good game, but there were either of the Bills matchups would have been better. Either of the Commanders matchups would have been more interesting because of Daniels and because that team. Also, there was a true joy was being felt by all that the Commanders were suddenly good. Within a year after Daniel Snyder being kicked out,
and that Daniel Snyder is at home sulking over this is nothing. That's the best story of the sports story of the year so far. Is the fact
that Don Van Natta and whoever
thank
else
you
contributed
for
to that
sharing
story.
that. So, all right, well, listen, man, I don't fully get it. I know you always. It's not like Eagles fans have been long suffering or anything. So I mean, for me, I'm gonna go with who my family is obviously rooting for, with the Chiefs.
Sure.
But I get it. I'll tell you, I just wrote something about this over at Joe Blogs about that. Patrick Mahomes has entered a different phase in his career, where like the young Patrick Mahomes was like this magician, right? Like every other play he would do some sort of miraculous behind the back thing that you would just be like, oh, I've never seen that before. He just did that all the time. And now he's just like he's like the old boxer who just still knows how to throw a punch and can just knock you out anytime he wants. He's like his numbers are just not very good anymore. He will look pretty helpless at different times, but then when it's the fourth quarter and the game needs to be won, he always wins it.
I mean, this is part of the narrative too, right? Is he is not in exactly the same way or at the same moment. He is exactly following the Tom Brady trajectory, which is to say, Tom Brady in his first 3, 4, 5 years was this incredible just manager of the game.
Yeah.
And never made mistakes, always calm and cool and collected. Then in the middle, and won 3 Super Bowls. In the middle of his career, he became something else. He became this dynamic down the field passer. He had Randy Moss. He threw for 5,000 yards. He set the touchdown record, and they didn't win. And then way past the point where anyone thought he had a chance to win again, he kind of found something in between.
Yes.
And was a combo of the original technician, surgical game manager guy, and also a guy who could burn you down the seams on a 60-yard touchdown pass to Gronk. And does seem to be the secret of winning consistently, dominating the NFL over a decade, is you can't play one way. If you play one way, the teams figure you out. You have to morph and shift and change depending on your personnel and the style of the team and the league and whatever else.
And your own age, your own physical skills.
There's obviously no question. Mahomes is in his athletic prime. He's 28 years old. He could absolutely be bombing the ball down the field to Tyreek Hill types, but he doesn't have those types on his team.
He doesn't have those players, so he doesn't. Yeah. And I would also add that even though he's going to turn 30 this year, even though he is physically obviously still incredible, there's more to it. I mean, this is a whole other discussion where when you're young, you'll like fire the ball down the field, you'll stand in the pocket and take whatever hits necessary. And I think the older you get, the harder it is to do some of those things. That's why, I mean, that really is, I mean, for even though it hurts me to say it, the real genius of Tom Brady toward the end was he did not throw the ball downfield. Nope. He just absolutely just picked you apart. He was super duper accurate. He never missed a pass, but he got the ball out quick every time. And that was just, he got older, and some of that was part of it. But yeah, to me, the way I did it, the way I sort of wrote it was I talked about Muhammad Ali and how the young Muhammad Ali was this phenomenon, right? Like you couldn't hit him. Like he was super fast and had that lightning quick thing, and you could never hit him, and you would just go entire bouts with him just never getting hit and peppering you. And then after Vietnam, he was something else. He was this guy who took 1 billion punches and got back up after getting knocked down. And to me, that's what Patrick Mahomes is. Like the young Patrick Mahomes could do anything. And today's Patrick Mahomes, especially with the personnel around him, he doesn't manage the game. You couldn't call him a game manager. He obviously still does incredible things, but Yeah, you know what? He scored 2 touchdowns all year running the ball, but Sunday he scored 2 touchdowns running the ball because that's what it took, and that's what he is.
It's just an ability to understand the specific game that you are in and what that specific game requires you to do. And if you look back at some of the biggest football upsets in history, starting with the Patriots over the Rams in that first Super Bowl, the Rams' sin was they had played one way all year.
Yep.
And the Patriots took that way to play away from them.
Yes.
And they just didn't change. And I think that the modern NFL has gotten to the point where these guys are so good that and when I say these guys, I mean the players and the coaches, that they are tailoring game plans with their personnel. And Belichick was a master of this.
He was I think
sort of the originator of it. Right?
Yeah, I think he is the one that was like, I will play how, if I have to throw 50 straight times, I'll throw 50 straight times. If I have to run 28 straight times, I'll run 20. Like, yeah, I mean, do whatever is necessary.
I talked about this all the time, but there was a regular season game, I think against the Bengals or something, sometime in like the week 12 of some season, when suddenly the Patriots for one game only ran what amounted to the like Chip Kelly Oregon offense.
Yeah.
Where they had basically had 3 run plays. It was like run left, run right, run up the middle. And they ran the ball and then they ran to the line and they snapped the ball with like 29 seconds left on the play clock without they didn't allow any personnel to come in. And they gained 370 yards on the ground with just like, they just ran to the line and he just went like alpha go. And then they ran the ball, alpha go, ran the ball. And I was like, oh my God, they've unlocked something. Like they've figured out this way to run their offense that is like unstoppable. They never did it again. Never once. And that's what you saw that Spagnuolo on the ball to Kincaid that Allen had to heave on 4th down at the end of the game that Kincaid kind of secretly should have caught.
Probably should have caught. It was a tougher play than people will say. Though.
It was insanely hard.
But he could have caught it for sure.
That's the catch you have to make to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and he couldn't quite do it. But on that call, Romo called it out. He called a corner blitz on 4th and 5 out of nowhere, like a thing they hadn't done all day.
Yeah.
And they had 3 guys rushing free at Josh Allen.
Yep.
And it was like that. I remember in that first Rams Patriots Super Bowl, the play that Ty Law had the pick 6 on against Kurt Warner, he rushed, I believe, was it Mike Vrabel on the team then? I can't remember.
Probably.
But he rushed an outside linebacker. I don't think it was Vrabel yet. He rushed an outside linebacker, and it was the only time all game that they called a blitz for that position.
Yeah.
Never did it again. And it was like that. It's just the coaching at that level requires you to see the game so completely and thoroughly that you're able to make those calls in those moments with impunity, by saying like, if we lose, we lose, but this is like an unexpected dynamic call to make defensively at this exact moment of the game. That's not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has nothing to do with that. This dynasty is probably half due in the same way that it was Belichick and Brady. This is Andy Reid / Spagnuolo and Patrick Mahomes, and they're just better at it than everybody else.
For sure. But what I would say, and I now would have to say this about Brady too, Mahomes is the piece that it doesn't work without.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Right? Like if it was Spagnuolo and Reid and a good quarterback, they're not
Carson Wentz.
Right, exactly. They're not winning Super Bowls.
No.
They're just
that's
just
the thing.
not.
That's why that debate is so stupid. It's who deserves the credit, Brady or Belichick? Both of them. Who deserves the credit, Mahomes or Reid? Both. It's a boring answer, and it's also the right answer.
Absolutely. All right, what are you opening today? Give us this is exciting.
Appropriately, I have purchased a box of 2,000 Upper Deck SP authentic football cards.
Oh, look at that.
This is the famously Tom Brady rookie set.
Whoa.
So somewhere in here, I'm getting my white gloves on.
Oh, you got it'll be good to get those white gloves so that you can open up, your Big Daddy, card and you're like, oh, here, let me hold that up. So give it just so people know, what is a Tom Brady rookie card worth these days?
Well, so the SP Authentic, there's a lot of 2000 Tom Brady's. The most famous one is the Bowman Chrome Refractor. which is his only refractor rookie.
Sure.
And that card, if it's a PSA 9, is going for, $40,000 or whatever.
Okay.
So
but the box you have, what is the Tom Brady card?
It's a card. I've got it right here. There's two cards. There's the base card, and then there's a numbered card out of 1,250.
Oh wow!
And
so why would Tom Brady have had a number? Did everybody have a numbered card?
Everyone did. Yeah, everyone.
So they were like, this third string nobody from the Patriots. We're going to give him a numbered card. I mean, okay.
So it is it's just a card. On the front, he's like in probably a red practice jersey. He's getting back into throwing position. And on the back, it says, once he gets into a rhythm, Brady can quickly tear a defense apart with a steady flow of quick slants and passes into the flat, mixed with an occasional deep ball. That's actually a pretty good explanation of what he was like.
Yeah, but isn't that an isolation of every quarterback ever?
Oh, of course. Well, they didn't know anything about him.
No.
He has good zip on all his passes, and his leadership skills are clearly NFL caliber. The classic pocket passer with good size and arm strength won a backup job to starter Drew Bledsoe to start the season. So
that's right. He had just won that backup job.
It's card number 118. There are versions of it in, prime condition on eBay that sell for, or that are asking for whatever, $50,000. It's probably not worth $50,000, but it is a very high value card. And I will remind you, if we pull one, we reserve the right to get it graded and then auction that card off for charity in order to maximize our donations to Team Gleason.
Yes.
But I've bought a couple boxes in my life of 2,000 football cards. I've never pulled a Tom Brady. So
you've never pulled a Tom Brady card, because there are two of them. You said there's also
the base card, and then there's the out of 1,250.
So even the base card you have not pulled. Oh. Wow. All right. Well, this is exciting.
All right. I'm going to open the first pack.
You open the first pack. Here we go.
I have my white gloves so as not to harm the cards in any way. All right. And now the white gloves are keeping me from being able to look at the cards. Here we go. Olandis Gary.
Ooh, Olandis Gary. There's a Bronco, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Running back for the Broncos.
We've got Jake the Snake Plumber. Look at Jake the Snake.
Oh, look at that. I watched Jake the Snake Plumber. Wasn't Jake the Snake Plumber the one that brought Arizona State back against Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl? Is that right?
I believe that's true.
I was there. I was on the sidelines for that.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Future Patriot Corey Dillon. This is his third year, I think, maybe something like that.
Look at Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon was good.
Corey Dillon was great, and also classic reason to hate the Patriots is malcontent, doesn't want to play. Everybody hates him, hates his team, hates everything. Pat's got to be runs for 1,600 yards, and they win the Super Bowl.
We have not talked about how the Patriots are like all the black magic that we talk about with the Yankees kind of was true for the Patriots, really.
Well, it was less black magic because they were picking they were much better at picking distressed assets, right? It's not like no one knew that Randy Moss was good.
Right.
Belichick was like, if he comes here, he'll be playing with Brady and he'll be happy and then he'll play well. And same was true with Corey Dillon. Same was true with Wes Welker.
But I think the Yankees would argue that's their philosophy.
No, but the Yankees black magic is different. The Yankees black magic is guys who stink and then show up. They've always stunk. They've never been good. And then all of a sudden they're good.
They get there. Yeah.
Oh, Jeff Garcia. Remember Jeff Garcia?
Sure. Jeff Garcia is one of the 44,000 Browns quarterbacks since they came back.
I believe this is his rookie year, Jeff Garcia. If you're a Jeff Garcia,
that adds value to the Jeff Garcia card.
And now we have a card that says Supremacy.
Oh,
and it's legendary nightmare person Brett Favre.
You know what? I don't think anybody's really said this about Brett Favre, but it's true. He was like a kid out there. He really was.
Why didn't anyone ever talk about him that
way? They always talked about him. Oh, he's such an adult. No, he was like a kid out there.
What they used to say about him all the time was, look at how straightforwardly and boringly adult he's playing.
Yes, he's like an accountant in a Packers uniform.
He's just a steady presence. He's like a sort of H&R Block regional manager. That's what they said about him. But I always thought he was more like a kid.
I thought he was like a kid out there. I really did.
Yeah.
Maybe we're the only ones that thought that.
No one ever said this either. In my mind, he was a little bit of like I don't know how you would phrase it, like a gunslinger.
Ooh, interesting.
You know,
Wait
like
a minute.
he got a shot from the hip, you know?
Back then, whenever people would always talk about how conservative he was, like,
yeah.
I mean, like people like Madden would always come on and go, like, he should be playing in a suit. That's how,
Right.
that's how straight laced this guy is.
If there's one criticism of Brett Favre is that he's too uptight. That's
too uptight, too conservative. But
you're
saying that he was more like a gunslinger,
me,
a gambler.
A gambler of sorts, yes.
Wow.
A risk taker. I always thought of him in almost like a Wild West kind of way of like, this guy kind of shoots first and asks questions later. You know?
That's crazy. But I think looking back on it, I could see that.
I think my analysis in retrospect would hold up under scrutiny.
I do. I think looking back, and now look at the time. No,
at the time it's hard to know in the moment, but yeah, I think looking back with the benefit of hindsight.
With the benefit of hindsight, I think so.
All right, what do you got?
All right,
5 cards to a pack in these things.
Holy cow, 5 cards to a pack?
Yeah, 5 cards.
All right, I'm going to start off with some Topps Heritage cards. Somebody told me that this is actually that I got a unicorn box here because there seems to be a chrome card in every pack, and then only 1 out of every 12 boxes has this. This is what I was told. I don't know
I believe that's correct. I believe that some of the boxes have a chrome insert in each pack, so that's exciting.
Okay, well there you go. Well, look at this. We're starting right off with Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, look at that. And that's actually a sweet looking card.
That's a good looking card.
Is he going to be great again this year? I mean, he's not even starting the year healthy, right? Like, I mean, like it's going to be like a month or something.
Oh, is it really?
I thought that he was not going to be able to start the year, but I hope I'm wrong about that. But that's what I remember. Alek Manoah just didn't. Boy, I thought he was going to be great.
That's one of the saddest stories in the game right now.
Yes. I mean, he looked so. Oh, him during that All-Star game, that was one of the like all-time joys. Yeah. So, all right, look at this. All right, batting leaders. So this is 2023. Who do you think led the league in hitting in 2023? This is not that long ago. You should be able to get this. One is easy.
One
is easy. Yeah, one is easy. Who's the other, though? Who's the American League?
American League batting champion?
Yes.
I mean,
you're not going to get it.
I have no idea.
Yandy Diaz.
Get out of here.
Look at that little Yandy Diaz card. Oh, my gosh.
All right. Diaz won a batting title?
Yandy Diaz won the batting title. I'm going to show you this next card, and it is instantly going to get a bunch of people to donate money, including you.
Great.
For sure. Because you have to have this Mookie Betts card.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. I mean, I got to tell you, give it up to Topps. These 75 looking cards are awesome.
The shades of green.
And the All-Star star on the end there.
And look at that smile. Look at my best friend.
This is just and the autograph on it, like the little Mookie Betts autograph on it. That is just a fantastic card.
It's a fantastic card.
All right, people, I'm putting that separately. All right. Oh, our Chrome card. So I guess we have a Chrome card in every pack. Oh, it'll make you sad. It'll just make you sad. Byron Buxton. It's just never, ever. He's never going to be healthy.
He's Mike Trout Jr. at this point, right? It's like the ceiling is as high as it can be, and he's never going to be able to.
And all because of injuries. Yeah. All because of injuries. And I mean, we don't know what he would have turned into without the injuries. But now, how old is he now? I mean, he's no kid anymore.
He's got to be 30-ish, right?
He's going to be at least 30, maybe even older than that. Let's see how old he is. Byron Buxton is, 31. He just turned 31 in December. I mean, what a bummer.
Yep.
What is the most games Byron Buxton ever played in a season?
120.
Actually, he had 140 back in 2017. That's 8 years ago.
Oof.
Got MVP votes that year. Hit 253, but hit 16 homers, stole 29 bases, won the Gold Glove. Man, he could have been so good.
Yep.
He could have been so good. And now he's a slugger when he plays. Like that's the other thing. I mean, the speed has gone away somewhat, but like he pounds home runs.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, very sad. All right, let's open that Tom Brady card.
All right. I'm trying to open these cards with my gloves on, which is not easy. Here we go.
when you were a kid, you were like this, weren't you? You like open cards. You'd be the only one that would have like your own little set of gloves.
I should have been. If I had known that was possible, I would have done it. All right, here's Stephen Davis.
Oh,
Washington
yeah.
Commanders.
I saw Stephen Davis play in high school.
Really?
Yeah, Stephen Davis played, I believe, at Spartanburg High School.
Huh.
And I was covering that league at the time. And I believe I saw Stephen Davis play.
Super Bowl. This is a Donovan McNabb rookie card. Look at that.
Oh, okay. There's some value there. Look at that.
There. Looks like it's in very good condition.
Donovan McNabb. You know what? What do you think? I look back now on that whole Andy Reid with the Eagles thing, which was forever. He was the coach of the Eagles forever.
Mm-hmm.
And how much Eagles fans just wanted him fired every year.
Well,
because he was exactly the most frustrating kind of guy. The guy good enough to get you there, but not good enough to win it. Right?
That Super Bowl, the 24-21 win, when the Eagles were down 2 scores and they were huddling with 5 minutes left.
Oh,
that is a thing that, in the code of NFL head coaches, he'll never throw Donovan McNabb under the bus. But I believe that McNabb was shaken up, was maybe concussed in that game. That was the whole thing. Is that there's a famous sequence earlier in the game when he took a really hard hit. And I think that he was maybe in one way or another physically not functioning at his normally very high level. And so I don't know. It's a conspiracy theory. I have no idea if it's true or not, but they just rode him out of town because of that sequence where they blamed that whole thing on him, on Reid. And
just every year they go 11-5 or whatever and make the playoffs and not get there. And that gets frustrating after a while.
Fred Taylor,
Fred Taylor, good player.
Maybe is he the first good Jaguar? Was he the first good Jaguar?
And last, interestingly.
Oh, Jeff Blake. Speaking of
there's a guy. So I of course covered Jeff Blake in Cincinnati. I was there for his first game and covered him. But one of my favorite moments is Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens, who was the Bengals receiver, went to the Pro Bowl, and I actually went to the Pro Bowl. It's the first time I ever went to Hawaii. I got to cover the Pro Bowl when they were both in it. And I went to Carl Pickens was famously hated the media, famously so, all the way back to his days at Tennessee in college. And he wouldn't talk to me at the
Pro Bowl.
At the Pro Bowl. And I went up to Jeff Blake, who was actually quite delightful in general. And I'm there, and I started talking to Jeff Blake, and Jeff Blake said, "Man, I can't talk to you, man. I'm not talking to you." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, I'm not. No comment. I'm not talking." And I kind of was like shocked, and I just was like, "Oh, okay." And I just kind of started walking away, and he's like, "All right, now, man, I'll talk to you, but it means I lost the bet to Pickens. Pickens had bet him like $500 that he would talk to me." So Carl Pickens, great guy. Carl Pickens actually asked me at some point. Carl Pickens came to me during that Pro Bowl and said, because he just said something like, "Hey, man, I don't remember exactly how it started, but I remember saying to him, like, listen, you don't have to talk to me, but it's weird, right? Like, we're at the Pro Bowl, and like I'm not going to ask you any hard questions or anything." And he said to me, "Fine, you can ask me one question." And I could not think of a question that I really wanted to ask him. So I'm like, "How do you like the Pro Bowl?" Like, I think it was something like that. And he's like, "It's fine." And that was the end of the interview.
Finally, last card of the pack, Ed McCaffrey. This is how old these cards are. This is Christian McCaffrey, who's like heading to the end of his career. This is his dad, who was at the beginning of his.
Do you ever, at this point, at our advanced age that we are, do you ever still see somebody with the last name and wonder, hey, is he that guy's brother? Like, I still think brother sometimes. Yeah. They might be the grandkid of the guy that I'm thinking of.
Mike Yastrzemski was the last time that happened to me, because I was like, oh my God, Carl's kid. Nope, Carl's grandkid. Like, that's
what about like Lyman Bostock Jr., right? Like, he's the grandson of Lyman.
Like, he's the grandson. Did you see recently that James Cook of the Bills, is Dalvin Cook's brother.
Yes.
James Cook's, it was revealed yesterday, at least to me, that James Cook's middle name is Dalvin. And Dalvin Cook's middle name is James.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right.
What do you got?
Here's a Manny Machado card. Look at that.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado's going to the Hall of Fame.
How would you describe Manny Machado, the way Manny Machado presents himself to the world?
I think this picture is a great version of that.
I do too.
Right? Like it's just like the world is just whatever. Look at it.
I hate to say this, and I apologize to our younger listeners.
Okay.
The only thing I ever think when I see Manny Machado is that guy's kind of a douche. Like it's like the only word that pops into my head. It's like those like angular Oakley sunglasses and just a look on his face of just like I just don't believe that I would have a good time talking to Manny Machado.
You probably wouldn't have a good time talking to Manny Machado.
No, I wouldn't have a good time talking to most professional athletes. I'm aware of that, but Manny Machado specifically, I feel like he and I are not on the same wavelength.
Probably not, but he's going to the Hall of Fame. I really believe, the Manny Machado is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Look at this. Here's another card that Mike Sure will donate to get.
All right.
It is New Age Performers, Rafael Devers.
Nice.
Look at that card.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Now, see,
he's a happy guy, man.
Rafi, I was about to say, Rafi, I feel like I don't think we have a ton in common.
Yeah.
But I get a very happy vibe from that guy. I feel like that guy's happy and in a good mood.
I think he is happy in a good mood. I'm putting that on the side. That'll be something people want. All right. I only show you this Yennier Cano card because of the delightful Rookie of the Year trophy,
the best,
all-star team. It's the best. I can't believe they don't put these on cards anymore. All right. I don't know how to feel about this. So the Chrome card in this pack, there is really a Chrome card in every pack.
Great.
It's Juan Soto.
Well, you know what? Now I'm fine with it.
Now it feels good. Yeah. That probably has a little value. Look at that.
Yeah.
Delightful. Juan Soto. You know what? And here's the thing. Look at that Juan. Well, it's hard to see because it's reversed, but that Juan Soto autograph.
It's a good autograph. It's a clear, nice, clear, bold autograph.
Very clear. You see the whole thing. Juan Soto. You see the whole name in there. Very, very clear. That's very good. All right. We're putting that Juan Soto card away too. If you want that Juan Soto card, which I know you do, if you're a Mets fan now, I don't know. And by the way, if I'm a Mets fan, I want the Juan Soto card with him on the Yankees.
100%.
This is the card you want.
Yeah.
All you got to do is donate to teamgleason.org/podcast, and you'll have a chance to win it. It's going to be great. All right, let's do it.
Jermaine Fazande. Do you remember Jermaine Fazande?
I have no memory of Jermaine Fazande. Was he a Charger? What was he?
He was a Charger. He went to Oklahoma. He was born 9 months before me, 1975. Fazande impressed the Chargers with his hard running and nifty moves for such a huge back. He packs a load at 262 pounds, making it difficult for one player to bring him down. He'll compete hard for the starting job in 2000. But Fazande will be a major contributor in the Chargers offense for years to come, regardless of his starting status. That ended up, I think.
Spoiler alert, didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Hall of Famers, Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce, Hall of Famer. Absolutely.
Isaac Bruce was on that Greatest Show on Turf offense, the scariest receiver.
Oh, yeah.
The scariest weapon. More to me, more scary than Falk, more scary than Torrey Holt. Like, he was the guy that I was like, you can't stop that guy. There's no way to stop. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't slow him down. You can't do anything.
He was kind of like of that genre, like the Andre Rison, like kind of smaller guy that you couldn't, like, unstoppable. Like,
Steve
Smith was like that.
Like a Hines Ward type.
Yeah. Hines Ward's another good.
But faster.
Yeah. He was, especially on turf.
Here's Mark Brunell.
There you go. That might be the first good.
That might be the first
Jaguar.
good Jaguar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, Terrell Davis.
Oh, there you go. Hall of Famer.
Super Bowl MVP, or did Elway win both of them?
Ugh. He shouldn't have won any of them. Yeah, I think Terrell Davis was one of the MVPs, and I think Elway won the other one. I think that's right.
Okay. This is exciting.
Okay.
I'll give you some facts about this card.
Okay.
It says Rookie Fusion.
Oh boy, rookie fusion.
It's a quarterback.
Oh boy, this is exciting.
It's Chad Pennington.
I'm delighted. I'm surprised in a delighted way. That reminds me of when in 1982, right? It was 82 was the draft, or the 83 draft was the famous quarterback draft.
82, because 83 was a rookie year, or 82.
It was either 82, 83, because I skipped school to watch the draft with my friend, a big Jets fan, and the Jets are drafting at the end. And all he wanted was Marino. He just kept yelling over and over again, I want Marino. And Marino kept dropping because of whatever rumors were going around about him. And the commissioner steps to the thing, and he's got this gleam in his eye. And he goes, the New York Jets select quarterback. And everybody goes bananas. Ken O'Brien.
And
the place just falls apart. It was
that was Todd Blackledge was in that draft too, right? Or no?
Todd Blackledge in that draft. Yeah. So Kelly, see if we can name the five. Kelly, Marino, Blackledge, O'Brien, and Elway, right? Those were the five, I think. Oh, Kelly was in that draft.
No, you said that, yeah. But
Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Ken O'Brien.
I thought Elway was in a different draft. I could be wrong.
Maybe Elway was in a different draft. I thought Elway was in that draft.
I opened 2 packs back to back just because there's only 5 cards, so I'll just keep rolling. So
let's do it. Let's keep going.
Enos.
That was one of 400 running backs that they were like, the next Walter Payton.
That's right. David Boston rookie card. David Boston was really good, man.
He was really good.
He was one of the first like bruiser wide receivers, the Anquan Bolden types.
He was also super speedy, right? He went to Ohio State. Yeah, David Boston's Ohio State.
Indeed, go to Ohio State, the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
Here's James Johnson, the running back for the Dolphins.
Vague memories.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Here you go, bud. This one's for you. You're going to donate for this one.
Okay, let's see it.
It's a Tim Couch rookie card.
Oh, of course I'm going to donate. Now I have to have that card.
Tim Couch, Kentucky grad, I believe, right? Kentucky.
Yeah, first overall pick out of Kentucky. I saw Tim Couch in high school. There's another guy I saw. Man, I've lived a long time.
First overall pick, and the answer to the great trivia question of who is the first quarterback taken in the draft where Tom Brady was taken 199th. Yeah, Tim Couch. Here's another supremacy card.
Okay,
Emmitt Smith. Those cards are cool. Like this,
those are cool
for 25-year-old cards. These have a pretty cool, like futuristic design to them.
That's a very cool card. Yeah. And by the way, definite supremacy for Emmitt Smith, but not by 2000. By that,
but actual supremacy in terms of he had the most yards.
He did. That's exactly right.
That's the only time that term is going to be accurate in this entire setup. Yeah.
Actually. All right. I opened up a pack of the 1990-91 NBA cards. I should say my dream, I don't know if this is going to happen, but my dream is that on one of the next couple of podcasts, we're going to get Flula on here.
Right.
Flula is a gigantic early 1990s, late 1980s NBA fan, because that was all he's not old enough, I don't think, to really have experienced that, other than like on VHS when he was growing up in Germany, like he was getting NBA things. So I hope we can get him on here. So you'll have to play the role of Flula. Look at this. Right away, Gary Grant. Very, very good player. Okay, this is a weird card. It is Michael Jordan's Playground.
So that's like where he played when he was a kid?
I don't know. You want a sneak preview? Oh, it's his new home video. Michael Jordan's Playground. It's not a typical sports video. It goes beyond interviews, film clips, and features. Here's a bet. It did not go beyond any of those things.
No, since neither of us remembers that, and he's the most famous athlete who's ever lived in America.
Sean Elliott rookie card. Look at that. With the big gigantic rookie on it to let you know that it's his rookie card.
Yeah.
Sean Elliott was a good player.
He was good.
Speaking of good players, Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley was a good player. Yeah.
Most intimidating presence on the court in that.
Oh my God. Look at this. Look at those arms. I mean, that guy was a bruiser. Just an absolute bruiser. Randy Whitman. You a big fan of Randy Whitman in general?
Yeah, I remember Randy Whitman very, very vaguely.
You remember here. Okay. I guess, and old school Mike Dunleavy card for some reason. I don't know why, but look at those shorts those days. Mike Dunleavy was a good player, by the way. Oh, here we go. Nothing more needs to
the worm. Now, what does it say in the upper right there?
It says Defensive Player of the Year.
Depoy.
Look at that. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman reminds me that, like, when you're an incredible athlete like he is, and you just decide, I'm going to be the best rebounder and defender and don't care if I ever score a point, you can do that. If you're that good an athlete and you want to do just that.
That was also an era in the NBA where being that good of a rebounder and defensive player, you could carry that guy on your team. You could start that guy on.
Absolutely. Not now.
Not now.
Boy, not now.
Nope,
I don't care how many rebounds you get.
He's got to shoot 36% from 3 to make it worth his presence on the court.
And I'll just leave with this one because here's Jerry Sloan. Jerry Sloan had a very fine career as a coach. But you know, our friend Daryl Morey's theory is that pre-2008, 2010, maybe even more recently than that, 2012, not a single person knew how to coach basketball. Like they had the NBA line. They saw it was there. They saw there was a 3-point line. Not a single person knew what to do with it.
Yep. Not a single person made the calculation that a shot that's worth 50% more than the other shots would be worth focusing on.
Could you imagine, like, if like there was a way to score a 10-point touchdown, why anybody would ever try to score the 6-point touchdown?
Yeah.
You know,
you can either go for 2 from the 2-yard line, or you can go for 3 from the 3-yard line.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Let's hear it.
Rookie quarterback.
Oh boy, this is exciting.
AFC East.
Oh, this is so exciting.
It's Damon Heward.
Hey, what do you we often bash commercials here because they're worse than ever. I mean, it really feels like we're in a dead zone of terrible commercials. What do you think though about the what if you had a real backup in life commercial?
I kind of like those.
They're kind of funny. I think they're kind of funny.
It also makes me happy because it's like Jacoby Brissett is like is making some money. And I'm not just happy for him. I'm happy for the backup quarterbacks that it's like Colt McCoy and
the one, or who is it that does, is it Colt McCoy that does the spraying of the hornet's nest?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I can't remember which backup it is.
Backing the car into the driveway one.
That one is that might be Colt. I can't remember. Yeah. One of them is Colt McCoy and the one. Anyway, I'm going to say thumbs up.
I like them.
They're going to say thumbs up. Yeah.
Here's Joey Galloway.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Joey Galloway. The Cowboys thought he was going to be their best player ever.
All right, here we go. Rookie quarterback.
Oh, boy, this is exciting.
Throws left-handed, actually.
Oh.
It's Cade McCown. That's like, what, 3? I've had 3 rookie quarterbacks in the first 4.
3 rookie quarterbacks and none. Yeah, but Cade McCown was one of the many Bears saviors, yes?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, supposed to be. Here's Aaron McNair from Alcorn State.
Very, very good player for like 2 years, and then I don't know what happened.
Super Bowl. Exactly. Almost won a Super Bowl. Came within a yard.
Almost won a Super Bowl, yeah.
Here we go. Patriots quarterback.
Oh, boy, this is exciting.
It's Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe. Yeah. Look at that.
Funny is that if 24-year-old Mike Shore is opening these cards, I get this card. This is a great day.
This is a great day. And if you get a Tom Brady card, you're like, who cares about that?
Who cares? He's their 4th string quarterback.
By the way, if show that card again, if Drew Bledsoe like stays upright like this, yeah, all of football changes forever. Yeah, the history of football is forever changed.
Well, if Mo Lewis doesn't shear his lawn.
No, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying if he had stayed upright.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Next pack.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Eric Floyd. Give me the nickname.
Sleepy?
Sleepy Floyd. Look at that. Here's a Hall of Famer, Sidney Moncrief.
Hey, Sidney Moncrief.
Sidney Moncrief is a good player.
I love those old Hawks unis that are just white with the red.
So good.
Yeah, that's.
So I by the way have no memory of him being a Hawk at all.
Oh, really?
I only remember Sidney McConcrief as with the Bucks, right?
You just combined Phil McConkey and Sidney Moncrief. You said Sidney McConcrief.
Sidney McConcrief. I only remember him being with Milwaukee. By the way, did everybody call him Hershey Hawkins? Didn't everybody?
I 100% called him Hershey Hawkins. Yes,
Hershey Hawkins.
I thought every time I see him, I'm like, Hershey? Really? I 1000% called him Hershey Hawkins. Yeah.
Okay. Player who was very good in his era that literally would be unable to play in today's game.
I mean, I literally was about to say Mark Eaton. I swear to God. I was 1/2 second away from saying Mark Eaton.
Yeah, no way. And by the way, another player from that era who could not play in today's game, Kurt Rambis. Yeah.
I will say about Mark Eaton that you look at like Zach Edey, who is, probably top 5 rookie of the year this year.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that guy, he's exactly Mark Eaton, except he can also play offense. Like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, he's like,
that's why Mark Eaton was a defensive. He'd still be a great defensive player, but he'd be a great defensive player under the basket. Like he can't go out with anybody. Could you imagine him trying to stand out there?
Do you think Mark Eaton ever in his life, except for like it's the end of the shot clock and he has no choice, took a shot from further than 8 feet away from the basket?
Not only do I not think he ever did that, I don't even think he ever did that with the shot clock running out because he would never have been out there.
Well, there's
maybe at the end of a half or
there's
something.
Like a tipped ball and he like is the closest guy to it and he runs and gets it 20 feet from the basket.
But that would mean he ran and got it. Like that wasn't his game, right? That wasn't his game. Here's a little Reggie Lewis for you.
Reggie.
You loved Reggie Lewis, right?
85.
And then here we go. This is so great. The stay in school card of Del Curry. Steph Curry's dad doing stay in school. I wonder if Steph is even
is Steph visible in that crowd?
If Steph is in this picture, that card has some value.
Yeah.
I think right there. Listen to this. This is what he said to people in the stay in school thing. I would not try and play basketball without a ball. And I would not try to go through life without an education.
You know what? Thank you, Del Curry.
Wisdom from Del Curry.
Little pearl of wisdom from Del Curry.
Hey, Steph Curry, you don't end up like Steph Curry unless you got somebody like Del Curry as your dad, right?
I think that's right.
All right.
Here we go. Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame.
There you go. Curtis Martin, like, didn't he finish a career with like
10,000? He had like the 4th yards rushing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
All right. Antonio Freeman.
Oh, very, very good.
There were a lot of good players in the NFL.
There really was. That was one of those players that very kind of straight-laced conservative Brett Favre would throw to all the time.
Look at this. Another one. Shannon Sharp. Look at all these Hall of Famers.
Another guy that conservative. Oh, no, that's Shannon Sterling. Shannon's in the Hall of Fame. Shannon was the best post-game interview there is.
Really?
Like he always said something fun.
All right, here we go. Young quarterback.
Oh boy, this is exciting.
AFC East.
This is so great.
Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson, Seth Meyers once said of Rob Johnson, he's really good, but unfortunately he is made out of fine china.
By the way, was every single quarterback between Jim Kelly and Josh Allen that played for the Bills basically Rob Johnson?
Yes.
Did they just have a whole series of Rob Johnsons as their quarterback?
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Rookie quarterback.
Oh, this is exciting.
AFC East.
Which way does he throw? Right-handed or left-handed?
Tom Brady.
Oh, there it is.
And it's the numbered one. It's numbered. It's out of 1250. This is a huge card. Look at this.
Gosh. And that card looks really sweetly centered, I got to tell you.
I mean, I have a little bit of a flutter in my heart right now. This is without question the most important and valuable card we've ever pulled in any of these.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
All right. I want to see the process of you putting it into the sleeve, protective sleeve.
Well, I'm gonna do that at the end. I'm gonna keep it safe. I'm gonna put it over here.
Oh boy.
I'll put it in the sleeve.
You realize
I gotta slice a corner out of the sleeve so it doesn't catch.
So it doesn't cut the edge. Yep.
That's a really big deal. That's a huge card.
Huge deal.
That's a really big card.
So we'll have to decide what we're going to do with that card. Can somebody win that card?
Because it's not the base card, because it is numbered, I have to have that graded at PSA.
Okay.
Because in theory, that card is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on the grade it gets. So this is going to be a long process. We'll give you updates as we go along. I'm going to have it graded. We'll see what it is, and then we'll figure out a way to maximize its value.
Well, obviously, all we want to do is help Team Gleason any way we can. But I mean, pulling that card.
That's a big deal. We did it,
Joe.
Joe.
What if somebody at Team Gleason, their adventure is to have a Tom Brady rookie card? What if that was the case?
All the better. We'll figure it out. We'll work with them.
Wow. How do you feel right now?
I feel really great. That is so it's possible that that's like the best card I've ever actually pulled out of any pack. I don't open that many packs of cards, really. But
obviously,
I once pulled a out of 349 Joel Embiid signed rookie card. That's cool. Very exciting. We've pulled some fun baseball cards.
We pulled some very nice baseball cards. We pulled some Jeter rookies. We pulled some, and also other cards that we liked pulling.
Yeah, but that card right there, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal.
We have time for maybe 2 more packs, and then I have to go.
All right, I'm opening up a baseball card pack, and I want to start off with famed international singer Jose Ferrer. We got him out there. I think the further we get away from the 2023 World Series, the more we're going to forget that the Texas Rangers actually won the World Series.
Yeah, it's a weird blip. It's a weird Corey Seager and Nate Eovaldi-led blip in baseball history.
It's really odd.
Very odd.
Here is a very sweet card. It's not his rookie, but it's a sweet card. There's Tarek Skubal for you right there.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that Tarek Skubal card. Really nice. And with the great brown that they always put on the Tigers. So I'm going to put that aside. All right. Who were the leading firemen of 2023?
For God's sake. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, the American League you should know because he was the leading fireman again in 2024. That's Emmanuel Clase.
Oh, Clase, sure.
But you would not have gotten David Bednar of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What? Did we all have a concussion and just forgot the year 2023 somehow?
I think we would. Here's a great player, Ketel Marte.
Marte is so good, man.
He's so good. He's such a good player, and that's such a good card. And here's what I love about that card, because this was not true when we were actually opening 1970 cards. That Diamondbacks barely fits on the card.
Yeah, it goes all the way across the top. That Ketel Marte, where he play, it's a classic case of like were he playing anywhere but Arizona, he would be.
If he were playing for the Yankees, he'd be in the Hall of Fame already. Like they would just have put him in while he's playing.
They would have waived the 5-year waiting period.
I just like Brian Hayes.
I do too, man.
I just like him. God, you know what? Why aren't the Pirates doing anything to try to get good? I was reading, our friend Joe Sheehan wrote this the other day, and I could not agree with him more. He's like, what more do you want? They're going to have 2 of the best pitchers in baseball they're paying league minimum to, essentially.
Yeah.
If that's not a reason to go all in on your team, what is?
Just cheap owners, man. Just cheap owners. Like they, you know, David Roth was talking about this on his on the Distraction the other day, but like teams like the Marlins and the Rays and the Pirates, like they pay their entire salaries with the revenue sharing that they get from MLB. And so as a result, they just, every ticket they sell is extra money, and they don't really, and they're going to sell out every skiing start. Right. So they're just like, we'll make whatever, $47 million in profit this year, and we'll put it in our pockets and we'll move on. And they just don't care. Like they just, like, say what you will about the Dodgers, you know, they have an $8 billion TV contract, but they spend all their money. They spend a lot of money.
I don't think anybody should criticize. You can hate the Dodgers. You can hate what they're doing. You can hate what it is for the game. Look, you can hate the Dodgers for any number of reasons. you can't blame the Dodgers.
Nope.
Man, this is all you dream about as a fan, is for your team to go ahead and go like, yeah, we're really good now. We're going to get better.
I mean, same in the NBA. You know, the double apron has made it really hard and hamstringing you with trades and everything. But the teams that want to win are in the double apron. That's just the deal. And the one exception is the Thunder, who have so many great players and such a great team and such a great coach that they are not double aproned and are still title contenders. In fact, they're probably the favorites to come out of the West at this point. But every other team, the Celtics and the Knicks and even the Cavs are getting to that point. Like, they're like, we're going to put this team together. We're going to go deep into the tax. We're going to we're going to pay the tax, and we're going to try to win a championship. And if your ownership doesn't do that they're just being cheap. They're caring more about how much money they make than whether the team wins.
By the way, I should add, because I watched them play the Cavs the other day. This is for a later NBA discussion. Houston is really good.
Good.
That team is really good.
They play the Celtics in Boston either tonight or tomorrow, and they're the second in the West. They're good.
Second. But they're not just a good record. That's a legitimately good
Amen
team.
Thompson was the best pick in that draft. I think that guy, he had a triple-double the other night. Like, he is defensively a absolute menace, and he's starting to figure out how to score. And oh, brother, like that.
They're good.
And Udoka, for all of his unpleasantness as a human being, is an awfully good coach. Their one problem, I would say, is I don't know. Like, if you're the Knicks and you need 2 points with a minute left in the game, you've got a bunch of options.
You
give the ball to Jalen Brunson. Give the ball to Towns, even Mikal Bridges, all those guys. Yeah. Celtics, same thing. You've got a bunch of guys.
Same thing. Oklahoma City,
Oklahoma City's got Shea and Jalen Williams, and they'll have Chet and whatever. I don't quite understand the Rockets' go-to guy at this point.
Yeah, I think that's right. But, man, defensively, they're
a nightmare. They're an absolute nightmare.
All right, here was the Chrome card is Logan Webb. Logan Webb was very, very good. Very good player.
All right, my last pack here. Look, speaking of, I really can't believe how many Hall of Famers are in this pack of cards. Look at this. So here's Marshall Faulk in his third year.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. By the way, what a steal that was for the Rams.
Incredible.
Holy cow. Well, the Colts are
Here's Eddie George.
Eddie George, Heisman winner.
The Ohio State University. Tim Brown.
Tim Brown? Did Tim Brown win the Heisman too?
I think he did.
Notre Dame, right?
Notre Dame, yep.
Yeah. I don't think he won the Heisman, did he?
I think he did.
Oh, you think he did? Man, you pulled consecutive Heisman winners.
Jerome Bettis.
The bus. The bus is in the Hall of Fame, right?
Notre Dame classmate of my wife.
Is that true?
I think he was a year. No, I think they were classmates. Yes, I think they were both 96.
That's delightful.
She was in a class with him at Notre Dame.
What class was that?
It was like one of those like math for poets kind of classes where like you had to take one math class. And so it was basically my wife and the entire Notre Dame football team. And then finally, Elvis Gerbach.
There you go.
But in his time, a pretty good QB.
I wrote a lot about Elvis Gerbach. My favorite moment of Elvis Gerbach was after they lost a Thursday night game, I believe, to the Steelers. And in the post game, the quote has been overstated through the years in Kansas City, but he said essentially when they asked him about it, he said, "Listen, I can't throw the ball and catch it too." Ooh. Which guess what? Teammates didn't love that. Teammates did not love that.
Yeah, I would have loved that if I were one of his teammates. I would have been like,
sure. You'd be like, "Hey, I love the honesty."
Accountable.
I love the honesty. All right, so we're going to call it a day here. You know the deal. So we're giving away all these cards except for the Tom Brady, which we'll figure out what we're going to do with. Right. But all these cards are available. I will say again, because it's so important, the Jordan Walker, Skywalker bobblehead is available. We got a bunch of stuff. We're also going to be, I think this year, we're going to be trying something else where we'll have single prizes because a couple of people have done very kindly. The Stratomatic folks have very kindly donated a game. The people at Pinehurst, number 2, one of the great golf courses on Earth, are donating a foursome. So I think we're going to have individual things. Those won't be included in boxes because those will be you'll just get information and you'll deal with them directly.
So just to be clear, if you donate to teamgleason.org/podcast, you could win the card of your choice plus a bunch of other stuff. We make these big boxes and send them to you with, like, you say you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, you're going to get every St. Louis Cardinals card plus the Jordan Skywalker bobblehead plus a bunch of stuff plus some signed books plus this plus that, whatever. We will also have a foursome at Pinehurst number 2. The U.S. Open was just held at Pinehurst number 2 for God's sake. It was just there. You could choose that as your prize. We're going to have as we go along, we'll name all these prizes that you will have your choice of what you want to select. What a deal, man. $25 to help people with ALS, and you could win a foursome to Pinehurst number 2. What are you doing with your life if you're not donating?
And we've said if you donate, we're even accepting donations twice. We're even doing the double donation if you want to donate once, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I just saw
Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah, well, I just saw that Elvis Gerbach car, man. I'm in. So then you can donate again, but it's all at teamgleason.org/podcast. And by the way, we recommend $25, but literally anything you donate is more than you only get to. You can't donate $1 and then donate another $1 or whatever. You can't do that. But if anything you can afford, you are in the contest. It's going to be great. Mike does it all too. Mike is I send all my stuff to Mike, and Mike does it.
I don't know why I volunteered for this.
It's because I volunteered to write all of these essays that I'm going to have.
Actually, I volunteered you. This is my penance because I volunteered you to write the essays.
I'll write individual essays. It's going to be such a blast. You will love it. Teamgleason.org/podcast. And we'll be back doing this again next week. Mike, as always, thank you.
Thanks for having me.